You can't even order a single bottle of wine on this special anniversary."
I was taken aback when the manager said that to me with a contemptuous expression. This restaurant was a cherished place where my parents celebrated their anniversary every year, spending special moments together. My mother would reminisce about their times here as if they were treasures, sharing them with me. I too had hoped to celebrate my wedding anniversary here with my wife, vowing to spend our lives together, creating wonderful memories. Over 20 years have passed since my parents' time, and both the exterior and interior of the restaurant have completely changed. But it's deeply disappointing that the warm atmosphere has changed as well. My parents met through an arranged marriage, yet they were very close. They were so into each other that they'd go to their favorite restaurant, just the two of them, on their anniversary. During those times, I was left with my grandparents. The first time I was brought to this restaurant was after my father's death.
"John, will you celebrate the anniversary with me instead of your father?"
My mother asked, to which I nodded. A restaurant made of bricks that exudes history. Opening the wooden door, a bell chimes. Heavily used, sturdy tables and chairs are spaced out, creating a relaxed atmosphere. Dried flowers and intricately crafted lanterns displayed inside add to the warmth.
"Mrs. Nelson, welcome. We've been expecting you,"
said a middle-aged man with a calm demeanor and a gentle smile. A young lady escorted us to our table and handed us the menu. Perplexed by the menu written in French and English, my mom and the waitress converse, and orders are decided without me saying a word.
"We usually order a bottle of wine, but since John is underage, we'll go with a glass of wine,"
my mom said with a tinge of sadness in her smile. Expecting formal French cuisine, I was pleasantly surprised by the warm, delicious tastes of home-style French dishes served here. During the meal, my mom shared memories of my father. For the first time, I saw my father not just as a parent, but as a man, which made me feel both awkward and happy. That was the last year I spent in my hometown. The following April, I moved to New York for college, and I stayed there for work after graduation. The publisher I worked for demanded long hours, often sleeping over in a sleeping bag. Even when I got home, it was just enough time for a shower and sleep. So, I hadn't returned to my hometown for years. Later, I switched jobs at the invitation of one of my former colleagues, who had started his own editorial company. I started working in web editing due to the shift from paper to digital age. And while I no longer stay overnight at the office, the hard work remained as intense as ever. My only pleasure was visiting a bar after work, where I met my future wife, Michelle.
"Is this seat taken?"
I never dreamed of such a movie-like encounter. Beautiful, yet down-to-earth and nurturing, I was smitten and asked for her number. Despite being swamped with work, I managed to date and eventually confessed my feelings. After years, I returned home to introduce Michelle to my mom as my fiancée and to visit my father's grave. I worried about potential mother-in-law issues, but my mom and Michelle got along better than I did with either of them. They visited each other and talked on the phone frequently, even when I couldn't return for holidays. After having children, just seeing Michelle and the grandkids is enough, my mom would say. My mom was hospitalized, and I returned to parents' home with Michelle. Luckily, Michelle's parents lived nearby and could help with the kids. Getting sick seemed to make her lonely.
"Thank you for meeting John,"
my mom told Michelle.
"Thank you for letting me meet John,"
Michelle replied, stirring a complex mix of feelings in me. My mom never left the hospital after that. On her last day, she told me,
"Even with children, make sure to spend your anniversary just the two of you, cherishing your time together."
Those were words typical of my mom. Fu always cherished her time with her beloved husband. After the funeral, things were hectic with paperwork and applications, but as things settled down, My mother's last words came back to me suddenly. Next month, we were supposed to have both the memorial service for my deceased mom and our wedding anniversary. I planned to take my wife, Michelle, to the restaurant where my parents celebrated their anniversary to celebrate ours. We left our children with my in-laws, departing from Michelle's parents' place. Though they had looked after the kids during the hospital stays and the funeral, this was the first time they were babysitting for us to go out as a couple. Feeling a mix of guilt and liberation, we headed to the restaurant. Even though I had looked it up online beforehand, the restaurant looked completely different, and I was surprised. White painted walls with glass doors. It looked every bit the high-end restaurant. Inside, the dazzling white walls lit by chandeliers greeted us. The tables, seating 4, were small and tightly packed together. Seems the only thing that hasn't changed is the restaurant's name. As I pondered this and gave our reservation name, we were led to a table, thankfully by the window with a nice view, because I mentioned it was our anniversary.
Nice spot, isn't it?
Michelle said to me happily, as a middle-aged man in a suit approached us. His name tag read manager.
I apologize, but there seems to have been a mistake with your table. Could we move you, please?
We were then led to a noisy seat near the entrance, with no reserved sign in sight. We had dressed neatly, but compared to the other formally dressed patrons, we felt out of place. I guessed that's why the manager had moved us, but getting angry would spoil our special day. So I contained my feelings, ordered champagne for an aperitif, and asked to see the wine list. However, I was shocked by the exorbitant prices. I'm not really knowledgeable about wine, but even when I checked with the brands I know, they were charging outrageous prices. Michelle noticed too.
Maybe we should just get a glass of wine instead of a bottle. We won't finish it anyway.
She suggested, considerate of my pride. I flagged down the manager. Fu had returned with the champagne glasses. Could we get 2 glasses of wine? Just the house wine, please? His lips twisted, and his eyebrows drew together.
You can't even order a single bottle on this special anniversary. You don't belong in our restaurant.
Feeling demeaned, Michelle glared at him.
Just because you're left in charge doesn't give you the right to change the facade, interior, menu, and even your attitude towards customers to suit yourself.
It was as if she knew the restaurant well, more than just as a visitor, but its inner workings.
The owner won't stay silent when he hears about this. I'll make sure to report today's incident to him.
With that, it was clear. Michelle knew the owner. I wasn't the only one surprised.
You can't be.
The manager turned pale.
I'm a relative of Walter, the owner. Back when he still worked here, I was a waitress and he treated me like a daughter.
Michelle explained, causing the manager to panic.
I'll take you to the window seat right away, and we'll prepare a premium bottle of wine for you.
Trying to make amends, the manager was desperate. But I stood up. No, thank you. It's not enjoyable to dine in a restaurant that can't value its customers, especially on our wedding anniversary. Michelle looked up at me and smiled, following my lead. What shall we do now? Outside the restaurant, I looked uneasy, but Michelle showed a smile.
There are places we can go without a reservation.
She took me to a popular pub she used to frequent in college. Every dish was cheap and delicious, with a wide variety of drinks. We enjoyed some quality time together, just the 2 of us, for the first time in a while. Why didn't you tell me you worked at that restaurant? Michelle looked uncomfortable.
Well, there's something I've been keeping a secret from you.
It wasn't just her secret, but also my mom's. Michelle started working at the restaurant in her freshman year of high school and knew my parents. I didn't remember, but on the day my mom took me to the restaurant, Michelle was the one who served us.
I just knew you as her son. I didn't think much of it at the time.
Michelle went to a local college, but moved to New York for work. Unlike me, she often went back home. That year, she was home for Thanksgiving and visited the restaurant to greet the owner. That's when she learned he was handing over the management to someone else. And my mom was there. Mom, Fu was there alone, struck up a conversation with Michelle, also alone, and they ended up dining together. Mom lamented to her, John is always busy with work and never visits home. He's at a marrying age but shows no interest in arranged meetings. As they talked, it turned out Michelle lived quite close to me. She half-jokingly told my mom that if she ever saw me, she'd report back. And then the coincidence happened. Michelle saw me at a bar. Thinking I'd be wary if I knew she was sent by my mom, she approached me just as a woman meeting a man for the first time, and I, completely smitten, asked for her number, falling right into the plot.
Come on. I didn't approach you with the intention of dating right from the start. It just happened as we got to know each other,
she stated, but all of this was well known to my mom. Thinking about it made me incredibly embarrassed.
That's why we decided to keep it a secret just between us. I never planned to tell you, even after she passed. But now the cat's out of the bag.
Michelle gave a mischievous smile. At that moment, I finally understood the true meaning behind the exchanges between my mom and Michelle during her hospital stay. If Michelle hadn't gone to the restaurant that day, if my mom hadn't been there, they would never have reconnected, and Michelle and I would never have met. My mom was the Cupid who brought Michelle and me together. Moreover, Michelle had been keeping in touch on my behalf, as I seldom visited home or even called. Thank you, Michelle. I managed to hold back the tears welling up.
Silly, it's only natural,
she said with a gentle smile. Later, I heard that the owner, Walter, fired the manager after getting Michelle's report. Walter regretted leaving everything to the manager after stepping back due to age. It seemed he's going to overhaul the store from top to bottom. He was now looking for a manager who could truly embody his vision for the place. Later, while in hometown for the memorial service, we dropped off the kids with my in-laws and went to check out the renovated restaurant.
We've been expecting you, Mr. and Mrs. Nelson. Let me show you to your table.
The new manager greeted us warmly. The chandelier light was dimmed to a warm hue. The tables and chairs remained, but were more spaciously arranged than before. This time, we decided to order both white and red bottles of wine, in addition to the champagne for the aperitif. The champagne glasses were placed before Michelle and me, and then 2 more were placed at the empty seats. Huh! I looked up in surprise and saw a gentleman with distinguished gray hair smiling.
Walter,
Michelle exclaimed. I remembered meeting him at our wedding.
These are for your parents, John. Have a wonderful anniversary,
Walter said, and his thoughtful gesture warming my heart. I'm sure my parents are smiling down from heaven.
Michelle. Thank you for reporting the situation at the restaurant. I thought I shouldn't interfere as a retired person, but I realized that was a mistake. The restaurant has come back to life thanks to you.
Then Walter shared memories of my parents, who used to visit the restaurant every anniversary.
They called each other by name with affection, like lovers, and just seeing them smile at each other showed how much they cared for one another. They were a wonderful couple.
I had never heard my parents call each other by name affectionately like lovers. They were close, but their relationship was that of a long married couple, not lovers.
maybe. They decided to spend their time here as lovers, not just as husband and wife. Isn't that lovely?
Michelle whispered with dreamy eyes. There, I caught a glimpse of her longing for my parents. Let's be that kind of couple, too, I said, blushing a bit, and Michelle nodded with a smile.
Here are your appetizers.
The cuisine had returned to the French home-style courses I had enjoyed before. Grateful for the meeting with Michelle that my mom arranged, I savored the delicious, warm meal, contemplating becoming as close a couple and family as my parents were.